Yeah.
I'm
What is
liking
going
that,
on? You like it shortened a little bit. It needed to be cut up. There was too many. Everybody got the idea. There's a lot of bales of
But no, it's
cannabis.
got the definition of square grouper, and I think that's important because everybody talks about square groupers, but what is a
Right.
square grouper? And I think that's pretty genius. She threw that in. Here we are on episode 2 today.
Yes. Cannabis community, welcome back to another episode of Square Groupers 2023. We are definitely on episode 2 of this year, which is amazing. We went a long time, but last week we had a great show talking about sort of the state of cannabis, pun intended, Colorado, California, out just all over the place. And we're continuing that trend this week with some information about Michigan. And we got some people hanging out with us right now. And I guess those are automated texts we got in there. But so we're going to talk about some Michigan cannabis situation going on right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over to BG, and we're going to get this rolling.
Well, yeah, word on the street is pot prices are plummeting in the land of Thousand Lakes, and that's up in Detroit. You know, next year where the NFL draft will be at. And in case if you didn't know, Dallas Cowboy Laker fans that are out there, you know, that's where the term Lakers came from out there. Today we're talking about Michigan, and definitely we got somebody that's no stranger to the show, definitely no stranger to Built Group. So we'd like to introduce her to your YouTube channel over there. That's the Prototype out in Michigan. She's been boots on ground with us here as an NFL fan. And she was actually commenting on our first show, the state of American cannabis, last week, as we talked about California and we talked about Colorado, Washington. Bob was alluding to that. And now we're moving through the state of American cannabis up to Michigan. And we got some resources, and we're going to be talking about some Michigan prices and things today. But she was commenting on our show last week. And then while I was doing some more research, I discovered a video on YouTube. And I couldn't believe my eyes how prices basically from December of 21 until now have split in half, like $180 for an ounce in 21, and now it's $90. That type of split.
Crazy. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, hey, without further ado, let's bring in the Prototype. Yeah, you got those applause.
Hey.
The crowd loves you, Sarah.
Oh, right.
That's how it goes.
What up, Prototype?
What's up?
I see you representing up there star status on the shirt.
Oh, yeah. I got my jammies on.
Oh, that's your jammies. Lifestyle to have Dallas Cowboy jammies, especially if your own fan club. But welcome to the show. I know you're up there in Michigan, you know, where Ford Field is at, I think. Is that what they call it up in Detroit, where the NFL draft is going to be at next year? Are you excited about that? Or you'll be there?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I will be, that'll be my last few months in Michigan, so I will definitely be there. My dad's already trying to make plans to go too.
Right. Yeah, now Bob and us were talking about that, and we were talking about the prices up there in Michigan, kind of how that's been a surplus, because according to some numbers there on marijuanamoment.net, I sent Bob the link there. I think he'll pull it up here for us. A big month for March when it comes to marijuana in Michigan. I think it's upwards of $250 million in the month of March. Can you scroll down there just a little bit? It says right there on the top. Yeah, $250 million in pot sales in the month of March. Man, why is pot so cheap in Michigan right about now, Prototype? What's going on up there in the land of 1,000 lakes?
Well, they're letting everybody have a license, and so it's selling everywhere, and everyone, I mean, to be honest, Michigan's always been a pot growing place my whole life. I've known growers since I were little tiny kids, so I think there's just so much of it. So what else are you going to do? You have to compete with everybody else, I guess.
Right.
Even the growers that just, are helping with patients and stuff have to maneuver their prices around, because if I have a medical card and I get it cheaper at the dispensary, why am I going to go to the grower anymore? Which I go to growers. I don't go to dispensaries very often. I try to support the people that have been growing for me my whole life, but it's real cheap out here. It's real cheap out here.
Obviously, I mean, from 180 to 90, that's a 50-50 split right there. I mean, sign me up twice and 4 times on Sunday.
And 90's on the high side.
Wow.
Right
well,
now.
You know, what's crazy about that is that we were talking about that last week when we were speaking with my brother Riles about how how things kind of got to the way where they are right now years down the road, because Colorado was the first to make it legal recreationally, and how things kind of went up and down. And the template for bottoming out seems to be handing out multiple licenses at the same time. So when we were asking him, what do you think the reason why the sales have crashed so hard for after peaking so high, was because everyone got licenses, and eventually people are going to be able to sell it, but you're going to need storefronts as things start morphing into more realistic and streamlined businesses. I think things are going to start getting a little different, which is why it's good at this point right now to enjoy it while you can, because these things are going to always be going up and down. But the fact that it's really down for the consumer and the cannabis consumers out in Michigan is beautiful. So congrats on that. Ride it as long as we can.
It's funny that y'all bring up the term licensing and throwing everybody out getting licenses. Here about a month ago, the feds charged former Michigan House Speaker in a marijuana licensing bribery case. Maybe they handed too many licenses out. Maybe y'all been saturated, and as a result, y'all seen that big month in March. I don't know, but I know there's probably some folks in Michigan with some bud that shouldn't have it, with a license they shouldn't have either.
Right.
Yeah,
a lot of those possibilities.
It happens. It definitely happens. And the black market is at one point, it's going to probably get flushed out, and then it'll grow back again, because it's going to level. It's going to go in the opposite direction of the way the dispensaries are. What you want is kind of to not have to deal with black market and just have all of your dispensaries be getting great cannabis to you at super cheap prices, to the point where black market's like, it's not even worth it. We're just going to break even with this. So,
and I guess I'm not a very picky pothead, to be honest, because
that's good.
I love all of it. I can't say there's too often that I come across a weed that doesn't do what I need it to do.
Not nowadays.
I don't really have that concept. And yeah, I smoke, but I don't smoke a lot, you know. It's a nice even keel throughout the day, you know. But yeah, these people are outrageous with that. Like, oh no, man, it still gets you high. It's okay.
It's not no Reggie, right?
Right. We're not smoking the Mexican brick weed in the 90s. We're not doing that no more.
That shit did the trick too. That shit did the trick back in the days, man. And that's funny. I'm not going to go on a tangent here, but I was asking if there's a major difference, and there was something about that Reggie, because what happens is it would get compressed and sent to us, whereas now a lot of people are touching on it, and you know, there's a lot of different things that happen. But those Reggies, depending on where you got it, that did the trick pretty massively at some point. I'd get smashed off those Reggies, but I always wound up going to sleep. It's just not like that anymore, really.
So hopefully, maybe these prices will remain low, because I know a lot of people will necessarily probably flock to the draft. If you take a look at the Kansas City draft this year, I know we were all in Vegas. I know Sarah and I were in Vegas last year for the NFL draft there, and it was quite a few people there. It didn't seem like the number was too big out of the norm for Vegas. However, if you look at Kansas City, they had thousands and thousands of people out there. But with the draft coming to Detroit, I mean, what kind of advice would you have for people showing up now, knowing that they can get some green while they're out there at the NFL draft?
Yeah, I mean, just do your research, I guess. I mean, really look into it, because I don't know Detroit at all. I'm not even going to try to front. I have nothing to do with Detroit. I'm always in Lansing, Grand Rapids. I don't know nothing about Detroit, but
got some.
There's definitely. I do know though that they just opened their first like lounge where you can smoke marijuana while you're there. I know they just opened that a short time ago, but so
actually, I think Michigan's one of the 5 states that have passed. I know Vegas has done that too as well. I think they're doing that out there at Planet 13. That's coming around. That's the cannabis lounges where you can actually go in, eat, drink. I don't think alcohol is on the premise as well, but I think you can purchase. You can also smoke at the same time. They've got one down there in LA too. I think some in Chicago. But yeah, it's great that you bring that up. So where is that lounge located at? Where
I'm gonna have to look it back up, but I know it's right there downtown.
All right. Maybe, I don't know, Bob could.
And I also think they have these floating tiki bars that you can ride on the river and stuff. And I'm pretty sure you're allowed to smoke on those too. Excuse you, sir.
This is something I was about to ask you, and then I got all happy about it. I got all Google happy. So let's see. This was my next question, but let's go ahead and ask. I guess Channel 4 here. And apparently, you can grow up to 12 plants as
Yes.
a recreational grower in Michigan.
Man, you can only, I think it's 6 here in Washington.
It's 6 here, and I can only be flowering 3 at a time.
Right.
You can flower
Yeah, and
there in Michigan?
It's 12
oh
off
yeah,
the
we can
bat.
do 12 at a time.
Wow.
If you have a medical license, I imagine you could probably grow 12 more. I do not know what the flowering laws are. I don't remember seeing a restriction. I honestly think
I
they're
could
just
swore when I had my medical, it was 12 then, but it could be more because I don't know. I haven't had
Well,
mine in a
Still a lot though, and I mean, with prices the way they are right now, my advice to any veterans that are out there that use cannabis or might want to look at cannabis as an alternative, get your medical card out there in Michigan, because I know what
Yeah.
my guy Bob's getting ready to talk about. He's actually a cultivator of cannabis, so you're in the right place, man. Learn how to get your card, learn how to get your grow on. Here we're talking about Michigan today on the state of American cannabis. Man, this is outstanding that we're getting all this out there for everybody to be able to divulge a little bit.
I think you
Yeah,
have
it's
to get
definitely a nice
license.
vacation spot.
Yeah, I bet. I think you have to have a license. I think you have to apply for a license to grow at home, which I don't know if that's the way. They don't keep track because they're not going to ask you any of these questions. But have you ever thought about that, Sarah? Have you ever thought about?
Oh,
like,
I would love to, but I can't because of where I live.
Right. But I'm just saying. So, but otherwise, if where you live wasn't an issue, you'd be all about it.
Most definitely, because
Nice.
my uncles and stuff have grown my whole life. I know I'd have some assistance. I subscribe to you, so I would be hitting you up. Yeah, I'd be all about it if I could.
Nice.
Well, yeah, we definitely wanted to get some boots on ground intel. We had a special guest here last week on our first episode. We had Rouse here from the industry talking about taxation, especially on the West Coast. I began to ask myself, is the West Coast really the best coast, especially when Sarah's out there with prices slashes cut in half? Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I keep trying to tell everybody Michigan is the place to be.
Yeah, I wonder how long has it been going on like this for now, Sarah?
Oh, I want to say I first started hearing about them dip probably like late fall. And then they just kept going.
Well, I know that won't stay that way for long, especially because, based on this bribery case I was looking at, just reading there on marijuanamoment.net, I don't want that to be the highlight of our show, but I think that does affect, because that's what you see in a lot of these legal states. There's the social equity impact on who can get licenses, who has money.
Yeah, because the town I'm in, they're not allowing it.
Yeah.
So I have to travel to Lansing to
connection, or is it, you know what I mean? Is it being not fairly distributed out when it comes to licenses? So I know when they began, especially up here in Washington, and I think Washington and Colorado did it legalized around the same time. It was a gang run or a land grab on people just slapping up shops. I think Riles was even talking about this here last week that, you can buy weed there in any, bodega there in New York or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
it's the
I think
Wild
once they
West
start
out
to
there.
clean those licenses up, we'll probably see that number drop. But man, you got to ride that high as long as you can.
I'm a proponent of it. When it comes to the licensing of it, that means it not only it's basically we already are legitimate, but the licensing of the whole business legitimizes the business, and it not only legitimizes the business in the eyes of people like us who know and are intelligent about it, but for the mothers and grandmothers who don't really think about kids buying drugs. That's what they think about this industry as. And the more that we're able to streamline these businesses, especially in places like Michigan and other states that are kind of new and are churning in a lot of money, making it streamlined, professional, and legitimate is definitely where you want to go. You don't want it to be a wild, wild west situation, worrying about black market. Get the people who are in the black market, get them licenses to start growing legitimately. That's exactly how it all worked out here in Colorado. I don't know if that was planned that way, but we definitely want the rules and regulations need to be there, because then we get the insurance and we start getting all the legitimate business
like
things.
Banking and the traditional ability to get capital through loans and things like that. Right now, it's a cash operating business. And I was just sharing this with Bob in the back before we, in the lab, before we got on the live here today. Up here in Washington State, one of the coffee stands that I normally go to all the time, y'all see me with my coffee and the blunts in the morning a lot of times during the show, is Bigfoot Java. And they have been getting robbed of their cash. cash because they're a 24-hour business. And so I think about that with the pot industry, especially with all that money flowing through Michigan now, the amount of burglary and crime that's getting ready to.
But we don't have to pay cash here.
Huh?
But we don't have to pay cash here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I can use my ATM card.
Y'all have your ATM card to set up.
Yeah, that's the one. And I don't know if my brother might have been mistaken about that not being legal anymore here, because after that episode, I went and saw my dispensary and did that. But basically what it is they treat it as an ATM withdrawal, and they give you cash back. So it's not a banking transaction of any kind. So that's really the smart way to get around that. But you're still, as a business, you're paying fees on that. And you want to not have to do that anymore. So legitimate banking is really what we're aiming towards. But until then, that's a good thing, because you don't want to have a bunch of cash on hand, because we did it that way for a while.
I know.
Right.
Back in 2020, when I hit Planet 13 out there in Vegas, they were just beginning to bring that online. I've seen one of the dispensaries up here in Washington State has come online. Not all of them have it. As a matter of fact, my home dispensary where I got my medical cannabis card from, shout out to Northwest Cannabis Connection, they're not a POS there yet where they can do that type of transaction. But the cash, I mean, you can imagine there's not as much cash in a coffee stand as there is in a pot shop. And so when the cash moves out from the dispensary or wherever they're at, whatever they have on hand, like, I mean, even Wanda James, former Navy veteran out there in Colorado, we've talked about here on Square Groupers last season, first Black female to have a pot dispensary in America, was saying it's the most dangerous job in the world to wake up every day and have to deal in cash. And so a lot of states are, bringing the banking, they're pushing the banking legislation right now. I think we're at 21 legal states. So, with the banking, once that comes online, that should open some things up. Yeah, a lot of dispensaries are doing some of that now, but not all of them. And there's still cash to be got.
Do you have guards at your dispensaries out there in Michigan, Sarah?
I've never seen one.
They got them at Planet 13 in Vegas.
They normally don't have them until they need them. It's just another expense that a dispensary doesn't want to add. Not to mention, they don't really want to give that vibe off a lot of times too. It becomes when things start getting broken into, then customers will understand. But until that happens, it's a very off-putting experience. It's already kind of weird if it's your first time going to a dispensary and then seeing some dude in like a security outfit. It might disarm you a little bit, but sometimes that's needed. So it's good that's not needed yet. That's awesome. I mean, if they're dealing in cash, yeah, but like you said, I mean, I don't know. It depends on how much they're dealing to, and it's always a dangerous thing, because it's a one-stop problem. Someone who's going to break in, if they can get access to the cash, they're going to definitely be able to get access to the cannabis.
They robbing, coffee stands with, little cash they ain't got that much cash in there. I mean, we've already seen there's been a string of robberies. I mean, there's been a young man that was shot and killed in a dispensary during the robbery up here in Washington State. And so, some of the state laws can't allow you to have a firearm on the premises, I think, in some dispensaries or something. Right. So there's a lot of red tape there with security too as well. But I mean, criminals ain't dumb. They'll find a way, to get to it, and they already have. There's been reports of, the government and the IRS and CIA and all of that about, targeted robbing these cash mules, taking cash from dispensaries, and then, So I was mad because I'm like, man, the coffee stand don't even take cash no more. Like, it's pretty bad.
Tasha was just saying she works in a dispensary. Just got to the point where you can use a card and you have 2 front door and a back door. Well, I mean, sounds like Scarface at night.
In Illinois. Shout out to the muscle over there. Tasha tapping in. Okay. Congrats, fam. Didn't know you was working at a dispensary over there. That's what's up. Appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what it means, like Scarface at night. I'm from Miami. That's making me think all kinds of crazy shit right now. So I'm hoping I want you to get out of there as fast as you can.
You may have cash still sitting in there. All your
probably, yeah.
In there, yeah. It's I mean, you think it's bad with jewelry robberies. I mean, people come in and smash and grabs in pot shops just to grab what's in the glass. It's
Yeah, that's tough. It happened in certain in a little bit more high concentrated population areas out here in Denver. I think a couple times the dispensary I go to got a couple things thrown at the glass, but didn't get access. They've been around there a long time. A lot of the dispensaries that have been doing things for a long time have a little bit safer measures in there. But the new ones are going to start popping up, and they're going to have new people who don't have any idea of how to cover the fact that they're bringing money to a bank, kind of weird things like that. So let's hope the information sharing is really what I'm hoping is getting done. And that's where, instead of competing with each other, I think dispensaries need to be sharing those safety practices a little bit more with each other, because that's how you get around all that BS.
Yeah, most definitely. So I'm sure everybody who's tapping in here from Michigan is happy about the prices up there. I know we're out here on the West Coast, not, because a little bit of a disparity there, but there's still states here in America that are charging folks for cannabis crimes, which is still crazy, as it's a Schedule I drug still, according to the bigwigs. But 21 states have already legalized. I think 68%, if I'm not mistaken, according to a last poll that I looked at. Over 68% of America believes that cannabis should be fully legalized.
Yeah,
that's pretty big. That's pretty
Praying
large.
for Texas.
Yeah. That it's as there's potheads everywhere. People love cannabis. We historically have always loved it in America. If they can find a way to tax us and get us to pay them, that's fine. I'll pay the taxes to ensure not being locked up for something that we shouldn't have been locked up to begin with. That's why I try and push the getting a license thing in places that are only medical right now, including Florida. People, get your license. Quit buying black market cannabis. It's just fueling and fanning a fire. It's going to make things worse, for God's sake.
What are you saying about Texas over there?
I said, I'm just praying Texas is right by the time I get there.
I wouldn't be surprised about it. You said 15 months before you get down there? Yeah, it probably might be by medical by then. It's getting loud down there, according to the noise that I'm seeing, especially, because they got the veteran piece included there, which we've always said that here. Bob and I've said that here on the show before, and I think everybody knows they're kind of preaching to the choir. But as Texas goes, the country goes. I think if we can hurry up and get Texas legalized, I think everybody else, like a domino set, should just fall for those remaining states.
Yeah, if people in some of the more Bible-rific states are able to see that it's not what they thought it was, it's not what they've been taught, and how much money that it can bring in for the communities, for schools. That was one of the things that Colorado hammered away and answered and did everything they said they were going to do when it came to schools, especially security now. But, they put a lot of money towards the school, the improvement of roads and things like that. It's very important that people start understanding the good things that this can bring to the community, as well as the jobs that it's going to bring.
I mean, just face it, NFL fans, at some point when it's fully legalized, you're going to see it in stadiums, just like you will alcohol. I mean, it's no different. And a matter of fact, last time I looked at the statistics, more people die from alcohol every year than they do from cannabis. So it's going to be your favorite NFL player will be influencing a particular brand, maybe getting involved. I mean, you see ex-NBA athletes, especially, I can't remember his name, that he played for the Warriors. Speaking of the Warriors and the Lakers, he started his NBA grow. He's been very big in the industry. So a lot of athletes are getting involved into the industry now, and it's just a matter of time, literally.
Sarah, do you have? And I'm sorry to go off in a different direction, but we're talking about the dispensaries and how the prices are kind of going down for them. Are there tier pricing at the place that you go? Do they have different levels of pricing, or is it every different strain the same price, every kind of cannabis the same price?
There tends to be a difference. Yeah, there's tier, but really? It's not very often that it's that big of a difference, in my opinion. And so some of them there isn't at all. But I've only traveled to like 3 different ones around here. I kind of go between those 3 if I do go.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious about that. That was kind of a thing out here when it first started, and then people started realizing that, saying that this costs this much and this costs this much means that this is probably not that good, and that's not good for business. Usually in any way, but normally nowadays it's just like, okay, if you want an ounce of regular cannabis, it's going to cost you like $1.25, like it is out here. But if you want the popcorn buds from the bottom of the plant, then we'll give you that for $70, because that's usually about 15%, 10% less THC usually, because it's at the bottom of the plant. They're not getting a lot of sun. That's really the only difference out here. I was curious if that was happening out there too, because
I've seen it a couple times, but the 2 places that I go the most, no. But I go in there just looking for the best sativa or a sativa I already know I like. So
what is that?
well, Jack Herrera's my favorite, of course.
There it is. All right.
But
PG
I
loves Jack.
just got this Candyland for my birthday, and I'm enjoying that very much so.
I'm a nerd, and since I'm a cannabis nerd, do you have any idea what that's crossed with?
I looked it up, but I couldn't tell you right now.
Okay. All right, no problem.
Because I've been smoking this.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah, give me some of that. Matter of fact, give me 2.
You can take over real quick.
I like it a lot.
I'm gonna Google that.
It'll definitely be a repeat purchase.
That's beautiful. Oh,
so, yeah, as always, on Square Groupers here, Bob is a cultivator. He's looking up seeds. You know, he's got a seeds connection. He knows how to grow. He's got a Patreon that's out there. I encourage everybody to support his Patreon. I believe it's up and running. So get with the full-time harvest tier, I think it is. Support Bob. Basically, you're not going to get this information anywhere else. Once you become a patron of his, you can get insider information. That's how I was able to attain my medical cannabis card here in the state of Washington. So I appreciate that with Bob. Registered me with the Department of Health. And at the same time, helped me alleviate some of the taxation that's out here on the West Coast, because not everybody's paying those plush low key prices out there in Michigan like Sarah got over there.
The tax hurts. The tax hurts. It always hurts. So Sarah, just so you know, you are dealing with a Granddaddy Purple crossed with Bay Platinum Cookies strain, which sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of look for that. I think I'm
loving it.
I've been diving into the sativa area lately, and
is that what it is? A sativa strain?
It's sativa, sativa dominant for sure.
Okay.
The Granddaddy Perp takes a little bit of the edge off, definitely, but still, that sounds amazing. It probably smells amazing too.
It's fantastic.
Nice. Riles over here saying too many grows and not enough retail shops. Yeah, I mean, eventually, again, everything tapers off, but it's good right now because not only, and this is something I don't think a lot of people understand, when you have a bunch of dispensaries, yeah, it's harder to compete, but then it drops prices for the community, and it also gives people the ability to actually up the quality of their cannabis, because you're not going to this spot anymore because this spot has bud that's not always good, or like you say, it may have tiers, and the top tier isn't good to begin with, so they don't want to go there anymore. It kind of pressures everybody in the business in the area to have great quality cannabis and information, intelligent information. And I'm really hoping that that's the direction that y'all are going, because you're making some serious money right now. But when things get fine-tuned, I think more people can make more money consistently than that's happening right now.
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever be a problem here.
Probably not.
Because I know what it was like before it was legal. It's really not any different. You're just seeing it in live action, you know?
Right. And you're not being thrown in jail if you get pulled over with it in your car,
right?
Which, God, that's just such a great part of all that, I've got to say. And then
that's why I don't want to, that's the only thing holding me from going to Texas, because I don't want to feel like I live in the 90s again.
Hey, I'm retired military. I'm originally from Texas. And you want to know why I stayed in the Evergreen State?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I can't see.
No, I gotta go somewhere where it's warm. I can't be over here no more.
Well, I was willing to put up with the depressionable, overcast skies and rain all year long, because when it is sunny, you know, it gets really green, if you know what I mean.
It does. There's my brother chiming in. He said, in the cannabis market, it's the survival of the richest. Definitely, if you got big backers. The operators that last will be because their investors have the deepest pockets in Michigan. Of course, definitely. But that's good. You know, then, you know, the people with the money are not going to invest in a grow that's not good, that's subpar, that's B-. You know, they're going to invest in the A+ grows, the people who have the technology that are putting out quality product consistently without worrying about outdoor temperatures and stuff like that. So, do you know if any outdoor cannabis is sold in your dispensary, and do they ever say that to you, that this is grown outdoor as opposed to grown indoor?
I have not had that happen at a dispensary, but I do buy it often from growers that I know.
And you're able to grow it, I guess, for a good amount of time outdoors.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
Yeah, my uncle used to plant it in random places and go in the middle of the night with tanks and army crawl to his plants and shit.
Those people,
Undercover operation, huh?
those
Oh, yeah,
members
for
of the
sure.
community are those folks, and a big hug. Those folks are the reason why we are able to do what we're doing right now. That's
Yep.
real. That's real personal warfare shit, because the time was big and it was a bad thing. So yeah, the warriors like that. Those are the real cannabis cowboys out in the world that were doing.
Yeah, I
shit
used to
like
love
that.
listening to all his stories, going out there to take care of his plants without getting caught. And yeah, it was pretty entertaining.
That's awesome. I'm under medical grow here in Canada and have had my seeds forever, so pricing not a problem. You know, and that's another good thing. That also gives everybody the ability to grow, which is obviously the case out there. And if you're growing, then you're able to really, really narrow down the freshest and the great plants and get all the access to the great medicine that you've been wanting all this time. So it sounds like an amazing opportunity out there for anybody who's looking to get into the cannabis business, or for anyone who's a major pothead. Heading out there, that's probably the place to go.
Well, I would just chime in for the veteran aspect. You know, most veterans deal with the VA. They have their own kind of candy, and it's called opioids. But if you're looking for an alternative, especially in Michigan now as a legal state, go get your medical cannabis card. You know, hit up Bob, hit up myself if you need questions answered on how to, access those resources and maybe what you need. It was pretty simple once Bob guided me down that path up here for Washington State, but it can be an alternative to opioids and help you in certain areas of your life that you may be struggling. I think somebody commented here last week on the show. I think they said they've been using it 30 years and they've been seizure free or something like that, 30 years or something.
Yeah.
So, some incredible medical results that are out there. But I use as a cannabis alternative to as a veteran to opioids as well. To manage my mental health and things of that aspect. So I would implore veterans to take a look at it more, or either just tune in here with us every week on Wednesday with Square Groupers. We're live here giving you guys a 360-degree streaming view, all NFL fans. We're all Cowboy fans here, but I got my NBA gear on tonight. We got the Lakers. My man Bob's a Heat fan. He's from Miami. We got my girl up there, Detroit. I know she's a big-time Michigan Spartans college basketball fan. You're a Laker fan too, right?
I grew up a Laker fan, but it's hard for me to deal with LeBron, bro. Ever since he got on the team, I just really ain't been that diehard like usual. I respect the man, but I'm so tired of the NBA nowadays. I want to go back to the 90s.
Oh, good times.
That's what's up. And, Sarah's up in Detroit. Like we said, the NFL draft is up there next year, so it's all pertinent. We'll get to run into our girl. Man, that's going to be pretty nice to have a big-time NFL event right there where you don't have to travel too far, huh, Sarah?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, and speaking of which, Hall of Fame this summer, y'all. You come out. Michigan's not that far.
All right.
Quick drive.
You got a Star Status Cowboys Connection event out there with the Hall of Fame, right?
Oh, yeah. I can't.
I know they probably will be throwing something up there in Detroit maybe next year. I don't know if they planned that far out yet, but I would start circling April 25th through the 27th, I think, out there next year.
My birthday weekend, as always.
I think Bob's got the link here if he wants to share it in the comments for anybody that's tuning in. We want to educate all NFL fans here. We know we're primarily Cowboys content, but Bob and I, we always go green during this time of the year. It is the off season for some, but not for all. And we're obviously built different here, but we wanted to cover a 360-degree streaming view of cannabis here. We got our girl Sarah. Here's Prototype. She's no stranger to the Built Different group, the original Built Different prototype there. So, yeah, I know she's excited about the draft as Bob has popped it up there. I am too. I think the whole city of Detroit probably is, because they need a whole cash stimulus injection out there in that economy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've been puffing that Dolato this entire episode, so it took me about 30 seconds to realize what you even wanted me to pull up. But I'm happy to let you know that I landed there, and everything is smooth sailing from here on out.
That's great.
Hey, so I'll be definitely looking forward to try to get up there to the Motor City up there with you now that we know that it's all legal out there too as well. So I know a lot of folks are looking. I remember I initially hit you up too about Kansas City when we were trying to get something planned out there, and I was like, is it legal there or not? I'm like, but man, Detroit is good to go as long as they. I probably would predict and anticipate the prices might go up by the NFL draft.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, Yeah, things are going to start fluctuating a little bit.
But if you're out there, take advantage of it now. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing your time with us as always. You want to give a quick shout out to your Proto Shop consignments to everybody, what you got going on over there?
I got deals all month. If you get on the page, check it out. Anybody who makes a purchase this month will get put into a drawing to win a free 20x16 canvas of the mothership. So it's a $50 value, and you win it if you buy something this month. So
Boom.
Go over there and get on board.
Yep, I got hats 2 for $50 right now.
Nice. How's that been working out for you over there? You've got quite a few people looking at your stuff.
It comes in droves. I might go a minute without selling nothing, and then sell a few things back to back. So
yeah, business. And during the season, it's going to start booming again. It's just the ebb and flow.
Oh yeah, I didn't even worry about it. I got a lot of hunting for stuff this summer with all these barn sales and antique places and different cowboy things. I'm gonna be on the hunt. So
hey, matter of fact, I got some more cloth. You want it?
Oh yeah, we might have to talk about that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just sitting in my closet. I'm like, let me see if Sarah wants. I know she knows some people.
Heck yeah, I gotta keep my mom and granny busy. Now my mom retired too, so she needs some work.
Right on. Well, cool beans, man. I just wanted to make sure this week's episode, we're on episode 2. We're back in 2.0, Square Groupers 2.0. We had Sarah on here with us today as pot prices have been plummeted in Michigan. And the NFL draft is out there next year. Any parting shout outs you want to give before we get out of here today, Sarah?
Nah, I am stoned and ready to go.
Fully be.
Sounds like an effective show, if you ask me.
Right.
Yeah. Good deal. We appreciate everybody joining us with us here. I know Bob has got his hands on the steering wheel, but it's been Square Groupers episode 2 as we've been talking about the prices up in Michigan and dropping and all things considered. We appreciate everybody joining us here today. Bob, you got it, baby.
No doubt. We're out. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you next week on Square Groupers 20.